Hey, Spartan fans, welcome into this latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter from Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aidan Champion, and we've got a game to talk about, don't we? Friday night, Michigan State opened its season against Western Michigan, 23-6 victory for the Spartans. An interesting game because there was a lot of good that the Spartans did, but there was some stuff that could have done better. And that second half, a little concerning. I mean, offense didn't score. There was a lot more that fans would have liked to see from this team, see them finish stronger, but nonetheless, got the win, a sizable win. I think for the most part, overall, it was what you would have expected of a week one game, especially for a team that isn't necessarily expected to take a major leap this season, but one that is expected to be better. And I think there were some things that was better at in this opening game. Run game, of course, being one of them. Red zone efficiency, 3 for 4 in the red zone. That was very promising, especially after last season. You know, that was one of the major weaknesses of this team was its offensive production down in the red zone. And this team was able to capitalize for the most part when it got down there in this game. And defense, really good. I mean, there were some big plays it gave up, but not a whole lot. And when it did, it was able to lock in, and it was, it bent but didn't break. And I think that's ultimately all you can ask for. I mean, you would have liked to see some fewer, home run plays, but I mean, that's just going to happen sometimes. And you got to remember, this was a tough team to prepare for. You didn't have a whole lot on them. And so you didn't know a whole lot about what you were going to be seeing. Tough thing about this game is the good things that you did, you kind of take with a grain of salt. Okay, it's Western Michigan. Don't really know where they're going to end up in the MAC, but I don't think it's going to be towards the top. Could be, but and then also just the fact, I mean, it is a lower level team, so um, it is everything that you did well. You don't know if you're necessarily going to do that well the rest of the season, and that's all going to be kind of determined when you host Boston College next Saturday. So, but I want to talk about the areas of concern because there are some more glaring than others. Here's the thing, big question: is there really reason to be concerned? I mean, do you go on from this game saying, man, I don't know about this Michigan State team. I don't know if they are as improved as they should have been after this game. It's week one, first off, like I said, and there's gonna be some things you gotta iron out. They've been away from, competitive play against opponent that's not themselves for months, and there's a lack of familiarity with newcomers, a lot of things that you got to factor into it. And again, you didn't necessarily know who you were preparing for with Western Michigan. Um, but the concerns, I think the biggest one, of course, passing game and really pass blocking. The offensive line, not great in that department. Blocking was solid. Pass blocking was an issue. Other thing, Aiden Childs, I think it was a relatively solid first game for him this year. And, there were some mistakes made that were his, and it was really, I mean, as in terms of mistakes, it was really just him overthrowing, which little concerning considering that was one of the things that the staff was working on him with this offseason was accuracy and really getting his footwork down, and footwork wasn't great on Friday, so you would have hoped to have seen growth in that area. But it again is week one, and it's his first time really getting to test that out against an opponent, really showcase where he has improved. So, that's stuff that can easily be developed. But if some of the one thing you can be encouraged about, if some of those plays connect, you're looking at a different ball game where Michigan State could have put up some more points. But um, but it is a little concerning to see that pass blocking not be great in that game. especially because, you're thinking on paper you've got a better offensive line here. You got to factor in too, they're rotating a lot. I don't know if they're necessarily going to be rotating as much against Boston College or against, you know, Big Ten opponents down the road. This was kind of a feel out game. You're testing some position battles are carrying over into this game from fall camp. So a lot of experimenting there. So, I don't think you can really go forward from this game saying or being too concerned about anything because it's the first game of the season and there's a lot that um, you know to be encouraged about, and there's, yeah, some concerns, quote unquote, but nothing that can't be easily fixed. And I think you just got to get those first game jitters out. And there are some things I think this team wouldn't have been as successful doing in its home opener last year. So I do think there's growth. I saw some growth. You're not going to be perfect. Okay. So I feel like a lot of this is just nitpicking, and I think you will be better in these areas that you weren't necessarily. So, overall, I don't think there really is reason to be too alarmed about this performance. You got the win, 17-point win overall. I think it was pretty on par first game for the Spartans, but you will have to eliminate those mistakes against Boston College. Thought they did all right in terms of penalties, kept that low to just five of them. There's some kind of silly ones on punt return, but for the most part, we're rather disciplined, and that was an area of growth, especially when you consider all the penalties from that season opener last year against Florida Atlantic. And then um, turnovers. I mean, Aiden Childs didn't throw a pick. That was big. Did have a fumble that was picked up, and then Alessio threw that pick, and just that is what it is. But you won't be expecting to lean on him too much this season. Um, so in terms of those things, I think you can feel pretty good about where things are at. But like I said, Boston College can't afford to make mistakes, can't afford dumb penalties. You got to be crisp in this game. They beat themselves last year, remember, and you can't get in your own way in this game. It's great that they have them at home. It's going to be an energetic, lively crowd in this one, just like last week. And I think the Spartans going to get their revenge. They're going to be hungry. They're going to come out wanting to get that win because, obviously that was one they felt slipped through their fingers and could have made the difference in terms of bowl eligibility last year. So got them at home, prime time. It's going to be an exciting one. We'll talk more this week about that upcoming game. Let me know your thoughts on this Western Michigan game. Are you really concerned? Do you think this team hasn't gotten much better? Do you think the optimists are a little too optimistic? Are the pessimists too pessimistic? It's always kind of those are the questions being asked after week one with every team, really. So you take it all with a bit of grain of salt, but at the same time, you got to appreciate the wins. Didn't come often last year from Michigan State. I think there will be more this year. I do believe that. So, thank you as always for tuning in. Hope you all are having a great weekend, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks.